Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au. This is my monthly update for July 2024. As I was preparing for today and reviewing the year's numerology, what struck me was the fact that for most months of this year, we have a noticeable 3, 4, and 7 count. Now, in numerology, in terms of cycle, there are 9 stages, 1 through to 9. However, there are 10 key numbers, 0 through to 9. And the reason for that is that when you're calculating a numerological chart, which involves looking at the date of birth of whatever or whomever, as well as the full birth name, the end results of any of the key numbers that come out of that chart has to be a 1 through to a 9, irrespective of how it is arrived at. Part of that combination or part of that end result can feature zeros. And so while there are, strictly speaking, 10 key numbers in numerology, when we're talking cycles, there's only 9 stages. 3s, 4s, and 7s are the mental numbers in the chart. What do I mean by that? Every number helps us learn, helps us come to a greater level of understanding, assuming that we're working with life as best we can. Yeah? The numbers 3, 4, and 7, they're very much focused on both the egoic states and the divine states, or the balanced states, that can manifest through what we think, what we observe, our opinions, our affirmations, our models. And also those around us. Yeah, 3 can be seen as the moment the light bulb goes on, the moment we get an idea, a concept births in our mind or in our awareness. Yeah, 4 is the moment that we come to really understand, primarily or initially, what that concept is about. We get it. Yeah. From there, we progress into 5, which is a time of acting on that understanding, trialing it, experimenting with it, going live with it, and also learning from our mistakes as we do that. 6 is a moment where, having acted for a moment at 5, we then have a tea break. We sit back from our efforts and we give ourselves the chance to review, but we also create the space to receive even more intuitively about how well we've been going. And through that process, we get to 7, which is that point at which we get really wise about what we've been playing with. No more questions to ask, no more information gaps. We've got it. Don't ever question me again. Just let me run with it. Out of that level of intelligence or wisdom, we then move on to 8, which is a time when we manifest that original concept precisely, spiritually, on track, in a way that fulfills all goals in a balanced way, ideally. That's why 8 can be seen as the number of success, because we've grown through all the other earlier stages and we've gathered wisdom as we've gone, in a way that 8 is the place where, having got that practical wisdom, there's nothing more to question. We just need to implement. This year being an 8, it's all about helping us through to those points. And therefore, a lot of this year is about, shall we say, helping people review, audit, double check, fine tune, get rid of whatever isn't contributing to the final outcome sufficiently well, whether that's in our opinion, somebody else's opinion, or even the universe's opinion. When a number appears 3 or more times in a chart, its spiritual lessons and themes tend to increase. That's really interesting because, again, the 3s, 4s, and 7s right now, they're higher than 3 each. And so to the degree that you have been having to deal with issues like manifesting, should we say cash flow, cost of living, of course, that's not a no-brainer for many of us right now. Even that is an interesting side discussion because, of course, when we're talking about those sorts of realities, the pressure or should we say, the pressure, but the pressure itself can lead the individual to a place where they're thinking, what more can I do? What can I be doing to get myself out of this or get myself through this, or whatever those words are? Of course, that's part of the task in those moments. And yet sometimes challenging times, especially when it comes to cash flow, they can force the focus too much onto doing and making and acting and responding in a way that egoic self, channeled by anybody, can start to forget that a lot of manifesting comes down to our ability to sit still and receive. Now, sit still doesn't mean sit on the couch and don't move, don't effort. Sit still, as I'm using it in this very moment, is about taking the time perceptually, even if we're still doing something, creating the space, usually using breath in through nose, out through mouth, creating the space for intuition and guidance and quality check to pass through whatever those thoughts are that we're having, especially if we're starting to feel a bit tense or anxious. Manifesting isn't just about doing and thinking. It is also about our ability to receive. And this is something that, again, we can forget when times get a bit pushy. So bear that in mind, understanding that, again, the 3, 4, and 7 count are higher. Now, why am I saying that? Because 7 can be a place where we think too much, where our thoughts fly around in a way that they just continually bombard, potentially wind us up. Now, a 2024 year being an 8 year, it will also wind us up energetically from time to time. 8 together with 5, 8 is a period that tends to get busier than self-expected, in a way that at times in an 8 period, the individual can feel rather bombarded by life. 8 and 5 can feel quite relentless as boot camp. Come on, get on and do the next thing. You hardly sat down and sort of rested on your laurels and enjoyed your cup of tea for a minute when all of a sudden there's a next big thing to attend to in a way that you can't get out of it. You can't avoid it. It's got to be done, and it's got to be now. That, in one sense, is the illusion of 8, because 8 creates a sense of busy urgency. It's got to be done now. And often that is a false state, or at least a false temptation, or a temptation we don't need to buy into immediately. So 8 periods ask us to use our breath from the state of bombardment or busyness or boot camp. Go, go, go. Can't stop. Got to keep moving. 7 also asks us to use breath in a way that doesn't stop us, it doesn't focus in on stopping, reacting, doing. It helps us stop thinking for a minute. Often in louder 7 states, people can find it hard to turn off, hard to sleep even. Mind just can't come to a restful place. And if it can, every time it does so, there seems to be a bombardment from the outside of other people's opinions, whether that's news or social media or whatever. All of those things can be great, hey? But in overload, yeah, they can do our heads in. So 7 is the pendulum swing that any moment offers us if we understand it through that prism. What I mean by that is 7 is the offer from the universe. It's the invitation that is along the lines, you know what, human, you're caught up in your head right now. You're starting to feel wound or tense or pressured. Do you want to just go along that avenue and just let that avenue drive you? Or do you want to pause for a moment? Do you want to breathe? Do you want to take time out from what you're affirming to see whether it's real, how real it is, and what you actually can be doing with it now, if anything at all? So 7 is that moment where we're invited to stop thinking, to test our thoughts, to quality check our thoughts, to see whether they're real enough, to see whether they are warranted, whether they're grounded in 100% truth, or whether egoic self has started to grab a piece of it and just run with it in a way that's skewed. 3 can be a time of expression, overexpression. And that too can be overthinking. 3 is often a time that is about perceptual shifts, as is 4 and 7. Yeah. But this year, because it has 3, 4s and 7s, so loud for so many months, it is a time really that chart then is saying, you know what, I want you to be getting things to the next degree. And implicit in that is, shall we say, a theme that almost runs counter to 8 and its busyness. Because 3, 4s and 7s are passive numbers. Passive numbers ask us to sit still, reflect, pause, make room to observe, witness, learn again, yeah? Whereas active numbers like 8, they're not particularly interested in sitting still. So the 3, 4s and 7s are coming in one sense to counter the 8 this year. Stop rushing about so much. Stop getting caught up in the spin. Do something to help yourself out of that for a minute to actually see what you've got to do with it, if anything. But also too, the 3s, 4s and the 7s are amplifying 2024's 8. Wherever in that level of the need to understand, the need to make clarity of things. Just give me 5 more minutes, I'll make sense of it. Give me 5 more minutes, I'll understand what to do with it. So to the degree that you've been feeling caught up in these dynamics, congratulations, welcome to the club, and you're doing a really good job given you're in 2024. What's also interesting about this month is that we have a couple of 6s in the chart. 6 is a time that asks us to come to balance again. Again, as I said before, it's the tea break. It's not always an elected tea break on the part of the individual. All numbers bring an aspect of the universe deciding for us what's going to happen next. And I don't mean that in a way that sets you up as a puppet. All numbers speak of forces that are beyond the individual's control, as well as those which are in the individual's control. 8, again, one of the manifestations is busyness. Yeah, the 3, 4s and 7s are potentially, especially because again, this year we also have higher 0 counts. Yeah, usually 3 at least each month. And I mean, that's not a whole lot, but it's a lot enough. That's not the first year it's happened, but 0 can create the need for space. Now that can be, again, the individual's need for space, but it can also be the universe's need for space for the individual so that the individual is given the space to actually explore, make sense of, etc. So the passive numbers are here to help us get wiser or wise about what we're entertaining or experiencing so that then we can kick in and exert influence, create, manifest whatever we're wanting to. 6 being a passive number too. So 3, 4, 7s and 6s, 6 is balance, 6 is authenticity. Since 6 is genuineness, 6 is also care, heal, feel, process, And therefore, to the degree that this month has asked you to do this a little bit more and even offered you more space to do it. In other words, maybe less active, maybe less client flow, maybe things are quieter on other levels in a way that all of a sudden you've got more processing time, not necessarily because you're choosing to process in those moments. 0s and 6s work together well in helping the individual make sense of stuff by pausing, by reflecting, and again by processing. So make use of those dynamics this month because in a sense what's being said is July 2024 is here to help people make more sense of what they've just been through and what they're still going through. That doesn't necessarily mean all of the answers right now, but it means that in one sense, this is a moment for regrouping. This is a moment for consolidating, sorting even, spring cleaning, working out how to go the next bit and even where to go next. And to the degree that you've been getting caught up in that or feeling the urge to do that, well done, you're on track, keep going. What's also interesting out of that is that we're just about to, in August and September, move into periods with a higher 8 count. And so in one sense, this July is helping us get ready for the next burst of action. A higher 8 count is a time that is going to help us do more and activate more. Quite possibly it's going to be busier and spinnier again. Yeah. So the very fact that we have this July offering a quieter time, it really is a gift on one level, that if we take up the offer of quieter, or of even the need for quieter, and if we use the space to process well, often things will shift much better in the following seconds. And just quickly on that, processing, if all we know to do is breathe in through nose, out through mouth, and just let everything go, that's all a person really needs to do to manifest well. That's a very big statement. What I'm not trying to do is deny any other model of manifesting. And yet again, sometimes we can run with models that seem to assume that the universe needs instructions. It needs us calling it in and telling us what to do and nagging us about the pictures of the end states we want to be in. It doesn't hurt to do those things, but you see, on one level, we only need to do those things for our own benefit, not the universe. The universe already knows where we can get to. The universe is already invested in us, each and every one of us, not just special people, everything. That's why everything is here in the way that it is. It's only the individual who doesn't know that yet to the nth degree as it's required to in that moment that has questions over whether something is possible. So even here, July is offering us all the moment to reconnect to divine intelligence. And by that, cast upwards, not around you. Breathe and again, let go of all atoms in your mind eye. Yeah, all atoms, those you like and those you don't. Those you want, those you don't. Those you love, those you don't. Let go of everything and give it all back into the universe's safe keeping. Let the universe be the manager it is, which it is. That doesn't mean do nothing. It doesn't mean be couch potato or victim. It just means let the universe back in with the wisdom that it has to guide you well. And we only make room for that wisdom by creating the space for the wisdom to drop in. From there, it starts to flow. But to do that, we have to create a quiet space in a way that we let go of all our thoughts, all of our chatter, our affirmations, our predictions, our fears. Because by letting go of those moments, we come to quietness. We create the space for the divine to actually say something, whether that's on an audio, verbal, visual, smelt, or tasted level. And through that, we intuit. And through that, we get the sense of where to next, how to get there, with what, and with whom. So hopefully these words sort of help you mid-July or even later. Take good care, travel well. You're in a good month, even if it's quieter. And of course, we've got Mercury retrograde just about to happen, I think, or it's just kicking in now. So that'll be a bit of quietness as well. Quietness is there as a gift for review, as a gift to heal and process, as a gift to declutter, so that when the next wave comes, you're on that board and you're surfing it well in all the ways you know you can and in all the ways you know you should. All the very best to you. Tune in mid-month, August, for my next update. And if you want to, go through to the website, psychicandenergywork.com.au, to read my observations for this month, for this year, or even to get in contact for readings, clearings, spirit work, healings, intuitive development, and more. Take good care. Thanks for tuning in. All the very best to you.